I've been doing all that you've asked me to do. I'm staying at your feet and still I'm not seeing the promise. I'm not seeing the things that you told me I'm gonna get. That was my cry to the Lord in September 2020. His response? Good. That's where I need you to be. I had no fight in me at this point. I just said, all right, God, because I was already in tears. I was already resigned for the night. I was bawling when I said those words to him. And so I just said, okay, Lord, and I fell asleep. But how did I get there in the first place? Walk with me, right? So in 2009, I took the walk down the aisle to marry the love of my life. Yes, yes. And we were young. He was 25, I was 23. And we had great expectations for life, what it's going to be like, how we're going to build this wonderful life together. By 2012, we said, all right, time to start trying for kids now. 3 years into marriage, perfect time. You know, we had our fun. Let's try for kids. But life had another plan, right? Because that was the same year that we found out that I had a fibroid. Not just a fibroid, but one that was pulling the nutrients from my womb, and therefore my womb was no longer a conducive place for a child to be conceived. All right. And that meant that early 2013, we had to do surgery. I had to do surgery. And in doing that, ironically enough, the doctor described the fibroid as the size of a 4-month pregnancy. Yeah. So by the end of that year now, we could start trying again because I had to heal and recover before we could try again. In June 2014, still no pregnancy. June 2014, our marriage was now struggling. We are struggling financially, we're struggling emotionally. My husband had closed his business. We're now on one salary. We were at each other's necks constantly. And if one person said "dip," it would have been done. But we went to a friend's wedding in May 2014. And at that wedding, we saw the love of God displayed. And when we saw that, we said, we want that. Separately, we said we want that. And we said to our friends, whichever church you're going to, whatever God you're serving, that's where we need to be, because that's the kind of love we need in our lives. And so we went to church with our friends, not knowing that it was their first time at the church too. But we went, and that day, Father's Day, June 2014, I gave my life to Christ. Wow. Not only that, my husband recommitted his life on that day as well. And so now we're both walking with the Lord. And of course, now I'm saying, yeah, this did missing. This is what was always missing from 20. What? Yeah, man, we're in the Lord now. So every prayer I pray now, it's like, all right, God, let's go. Let's get that baby in this belly. Yeah? Yeah. But then every month there was tears. Every month. It was that continuous cycle of not this month, not this month. And so I went to a Bible study, and the facilitator said to me, what if God doesn't do it for you? And that was the first time I ever thought about that question. And I didn't answer her. I didn't answer her because I'm not gonna lie. I know what I'm supposed to say, but I'm not there. And I'm not gonna open my mouth and pretend like I'm there, right? So let me just hold that, yes? And so we continued on the journey with the Lord, and I submitted all the different areas of my life, and the Lord working out things, and forgiveness and unforgiveness and all of these things working out. And I'm like, yes, I love this. Let's continue going. Let's see the baby, right? Yeah. 2018 comes around. The Lord sends me the question again. And he says, what if I don't do it? And I said to him this time, all right, if you don't do it, I'm still serving you. I'm not leaving, right? It was a delayed and hesitant response, but I responded. In that year, September 2018, the Lord instructed me to build a nursery in our home. I closed that door for 3 months. I was like, God, that's too painful. Because by this time, I would have gone through so many months of pain and crying and disappointments and feeling like I'm asking the Lord for this thing and I'm not seeing it. And He's saying that I'm going to get it, but I can't see how I'm going to get it. And You're telling me to do all these things. And every time I do the things, I feel like I'm going to get it now. And He says, not yet. So I closed that door for 3 months. Nonetheless, we began the journey late 2018, building that nursery. And that now brings us back to that September 2020 bawl out to the Lord saying, Lord, where are you? What's going on? I woke up the following morning to the question for the third time, what if I don't do it? And this time it was an immediate jump up out of bed. Lord, I will still serve you because you are my God and you alone are worthy. You alone are worthy. And so it becomes now, Lord, what you want to do, when you want to do it. It's not about me, but about you. So use my life however you want to use it. Why was I able to do this now? Simply because my walls were now down. All of the being strong and standing up and hearing the prophecies and getting all the hands laid and saying, yes, this is the time, and trying to give God timelines, that was done. That was done because now it's about what you want to do, Lord. What is your timeline? Where do you want me to go? How do you want to use me? Because at the end of the day, I'm your vessel and I'm a living sacrifice unto you, meaning that I will continue putting myself before you as often as you call me. As often as you call me. So by December 2020, remember when did He say the nursery was supposed to be built? 2018. December 2020, it was finished. And you know what happened after that? January 2021, He says, you can adopt. I was like, hold on. We weren't talking about this, Jesus. We were just talking about business and what we're going to do this year. He said, no, you're going to adopt. And we said, okay. And that took us on a journey, not just to adoption, but to foster care. And in that journey of foster care, it meant that by June of 2021, that nursery was filled. June, we had a baby boy there. That baby boy was reunited with his birth family in September of that same year. December, another baby boy was in that nursery. And we have not been without a child since. We have been fostering for 4 years. And we're currently adopting another baby boy. The Lord had a plan. He had a plan that we could not see, that I could not see. A plan that took me outside of myself. Because adoption, sure, that was a discussion, that was a conversation. Foster care? Not even a thought. But He led us down that path, and not only did He lead us down a path that allowed us to foster, but allowed us to become ambassadors for foster care, allowed us to now help others fill their nurseries and build families, because adoptions have taken place because people have watched our story. People have seen us and heard what we have had to say. And that is what we're talking about when we're talking about being empowered for impact. When we talk about using your story and seeing how God has used your life and worked in your life, empowering you to move beyond the pain of what you are feeling, moving from that sorrowful place into that place of submission to say, yes, Lord, whatever you are calling me to do, you will see the Lord do things that you never imagined, things that you could not conceive in your mind. He will use you to do if you are willing to submit. So as I leave the platform today, I say to you, there is purpose in your wait. See how God is using you. Choose to use this time during the wait to say, God, what is it that you're showing me? There's character that you need to be able to handle the promise. There's timing that is important for your promise. Just like Hannah had to wait for Samuel because there was a specific appointed time that Samuel needed to be in the land to be able to anoint Saul and to anoint David. The power behind the weight of Hannah's story is not about Hannah, it's about Samuel. So what is coming after you? Who is coming after you that the Lord is raising up? And are you standing in the way of what God is trying to do in the next generation? The next thing, your faith cannot hinge on seeing the promise. When we look at Hebrews 11, the hall of faith, you know what it says at the very end? That not one of them saw the promise. Not one of them. And you have to be okay with that. What if you don't see it? Does that change your faith in God? Does that change your belief in Him? It cannot. Third, there's a heart posture that is needed for impact. For you to have true impact, you must be surrendered. When we talk about kingdom things and doing things on behalf of God, you have to be doing it in the Spirit of God. It cannot be selfish. It cannot be prideful. It cannot be about you. It has to be about Him and His purposes. And finally, leave the frustration behind. That is not God. That is not His will for you. That is not His purpose for you. He wants to say, enter into the joy of your master. That's what He wants to say to you. So leave that frustration at His feet and choose faith in God.